Well, good evening, everybody. Later on this evening, I'm hoping to do a live chat with the creators of the 80 More Things podcast. Looking forward to that. Maybe even the dude himself, Eric Ose, will deign to lend his opinion and join us. Rather appropriate that we're continuing to look at the decision by William Griesbach following the tweet by his younger brother Michael that has caused a bit of a stir today, with basically saying that if there was any evidence against to prove that Stephen Avery was wrongfully convicted, or that law enforcement were involved in any kind of planting of evidence, then he would be one of the first to investigate it and chase things up. Well, Michael, knock yourself out. You've I'm sure by now you have got Kathleen Zellner's phone number. Why not give her a ring? I'm sure she'd be delighted to speak to you. Anyway, we're going to carry on with Michael's older brother William, who is a judge in the Eastern District, and he was the one that looked at the case of, obviously, Stephanie Van Grohl's civil suit against Ken Kratz, that was actually filed by the lawyer called Michael Fox, but not the Back to the Future Michael Fox. At least I assume not. Anyway, we're going to carry on with the next few paragraphs. So we got as far as the looking at the opening few paragraphs of William Griesbach's decision, where he looks at the first few text messages sent by Ken Kratz and Stephanie's reply. So here's the next few paragraphs. He wrote, "At that point, Kratz's messages began taking on a more personal tone, and it is more difficult to link plaintiff's replies with his messages. At 11:37 a.m. on October the 21st, he sent plaintiff the following message. I know this is wrong. I am such an honest guy and straight shooter. But I have to know more about you. Does that make sense to you? I bet you get this a lot." And at 12:43, he followed up with a message that reads, "Are you the kind of girl that likes secret contact with an older, married, elected DA? The riskier, the better. Or do you want to stop right now before any issues?" Now, Stephanie appears to have replied to one of Kratz's message with, "Dunno." Kratz sent the following message to plaintiff at 1:35. "I need direction from you. Yes, you are a risk taker and can keep your mouth shut, and you think this is fun, or you think a man twice your age is creepy, so stop." And Stephanie replied with, I have to think about that. Kratz responded with, "Okay, no problem. Either way, I think you are very nice. I am very smart, but no, this is all up to you and really does depend how close to the edge you live." Stephanie replied with LOL. In the face of her apparent uncertainty, Kratz continued to send Stephanie text messages in an effort to persuade her to accept his proposal. And Stephanie continued to reply to at least some of his messages. At 2:19 in the afternoon, he texted her, "Still wondering if I'm worth it?" And at 2:22, he asked, "Can I help you answer any questions?" Kratz commented at 2:24, "You don't say very much, do you?" And followed up at 2:27 with, "When you are that pretty, I guess you don't have to." In brackets, now the compliments start. At 2:37, he asked, why would such a successful, respected attorney be acting like he's in 7th grade? Are you worried about me? Stephanie appears to have replied, I won't lie, yes. Kratz responded, you should never lie to me. Obviously we have talents and this to offer that the other is intrigued by. Or you would have called me creepy. You want to accept? As Stephanie continued to express uncertainty, Kratz became more insistent. At 3:43, he texted her, hey, miscommunication. What's the sticking point? Your low self-esteem and your fear that you can't play in my big sandbox? He sent a final message for the day at 4:14 that read, I'm leaving for the day. Let me know after 8 tomorrow. You will either be excited or grossed out about the opportunity you have, but it will only come once. Kratz resumed his sexting text messages to Stephanie at 9:47 the following morning, asking the plaintiff what she hoped her life would look like in 5 years. Quote, what kind of residence? A job making how much in the household? A relationship with what kind of guy? And then dollars signs. Stephanie replied, no guy, just graduating from college, house that bought for her child, and I doing part-time work as a park ranger for High Cliff, maybe. At 10 in the morning, Kratz texted, how are you feeling today? You stopped talking yesterday. She replied with, okay. And at 10:33, Kratz wrote, are you serious? Okay, that's it. Are you in a board meeting? You are beautiful and would make a great young partner someday, but I won't beg. Stephanie replied, lol. At 11:15, Kratz continued, I'm serious. I'm the attorney. I have the $350,000 house. I have the 6-figure career. You may be the tall, young, hot nymph, but I am the prize. What a clown. What a clown. Start convincing. Stephanie appears to have replied, I think your wife would have something to say about that. I don't think I could be the other woman. Kratz responded, finally, an opinion. I would not expect you to be the other woman. I would want you to be so hot and treat me so well that you'd be the woman. Are you that good? Kratz sent 2 more texts at 1:50 and at 1:56 in the afternoon, receiving little or no response. He sent a final message at 3:25, just short of 48 hours after his first. It read, when the case is over, if you change your mind and want to meet me for a drink, please tell me. Otherwise, I will respect your desire to be left alone. Now, carrying on. Unbeknown to Kratz, at the time he was sending his last message to her, plaintiff was at the police department for the city of Kokona in Outgamey County with her mother, where she had gone to file a complaint, even though she had not communicated the fact to Kratz. Plaintiff found his messages and solicitations unwelcome and offensive. She was upset and felt uncomfortable, injured, and humiliated by his behaviour. However, she also felt frightened, threatened, and intimidated by the pressure Kratz was placing on her. She feared that if she confronted Kratz directly, it would have an adverse effect on the prosecution of Shannon Konitzer, or would cause Kratz to retaliate against her in some other way. She concluded that she would not be able to trust Kratz or participation in the prosecution of Shannon Konitzer, fearing that Kratz's position as district attorney of Calumet County gave him authority over other law enforcement agencies within the county. She had decided to report his contact to a law enforcement agency outwith of the county. she also refused thereafter to have any further involvement with the prosecution of Shannon Conitzer. As a result of her complaints against Kratz, the prosecution of Shannon Conitzer was taken over by the Wisconsin Department of Justice, and he, Shannon, the ex-boyfriend, eventually entered a no-contest plea to the felony charge of strangling and suffocating the plaintiff. Stephanie alleges that as a result of his job, training and experience, Kratz knew that victims of domestic violence were particularly vulnerable to harm from unwelcome sexual requests and the abuse of power. She also further alleges that Kratz knew that she would be unusually sensitive to sexual requests directed toward her by a person in his position of power, and that his solicitation of a sexual relationship with her would likely cause her harm and be perceived by her as a threat of harm. She asserts that his messages were directed to her because of her sex, that he used his power and position as district attorney to gain access to her and to pressure her to have a sexual relationship with him. Kratz, on the other hand, denies that he acted with intent to cause Stephanie harm. He notes that at no time did Stephanie tell him she wanted him to stop texting, even when he asked her directly. He contends that he had no idea, based on her responsive text messages to him, that she was uncomfortable or wished for the contact to stop. In fact, because she responded promptly to many of his texts, Kratz states that he thought she wanted to continue communicating with him. Finally, he notes that he stopped texting her on his own accord several days before he found out that Stephanie had gone to the Kaukauna Police Department to complain, and states that he would have stopped earlier had she told him she was not interested in a relationship. Instead, Kratz contends that Stephanie continued our text conversation for days with no indication that it was making her uneasy or that she wanted it to stop. And we'll stop there as well, because the next paragraph is labelled analysis, so we look forward to reading what William Griesbach has to say about the case. As I say, if you'd like to join me later on, hopefully I'll be doing a live with the creators of the 80 More Things podcast. And as I say, we're hoping that, I'm hoping anyway, for a bit of moral support, so I don't get browbeaten by two rather formidable females, that he's going to support me and look after me as he should, I suppose, as I'm his older brother. So anyway, hopefully we'll catch you not too later this evening. This evening is it is now 8:15 here in Scotland. The idea is around about the 11 o'clock to do the live with the 80 More Things. But if they're available sooner, then we could hopefully kick off a bit sooner as well. Anyway, catch you again soon. Bye for now.